Let's just stand. We'll have our feet under our hips about fist distance apart. And let's just notice we can lift our toes. We can lower our toes. As we lift our toes, let's notice that we've got those 4 points under our feet. Ball of the foot behind the big toe, ball of the foot behind the baby toe, 2 points on our heels. We'll lower the toes. Notice the weight can still stay equally over those 4 points. So another way to think of that is that our weight is over the arch of our foot. And let's start with some breathing and shoulder work. So let's inhale, and as we inhale, let's lift our shoulders up towards our ears. And let's exhale, release the shoulders down. Notice as you inhale, ribs are expanding. And exhale, lowering the shoulders down. Notice that even though shoulders are lifting and lowering, arms can be heavy and soft. Let's inhale, lifting again. Feel the shoulder blades gliding up the back. And we'll exhale, feeling the shoulders gliding down the back. Let's move into some circles. So I'm going to start by bringing shoulder blades closer together. Shoulders move backwards in space. So I'm imagining I'm holding a pencil there. I'm going to glide the pencil up my back. Then I'm going to come forward, feel shoulder blades widening on the back, pencil drops, and lowering down. Let's do that again. Shoulders move back, shoulder blades glide up the back, forward, and down. Let's reverse directions. Now you may feel some snap, crackle, pops here. As long as they're not painful, you are good to go. If you're experiencing like sharp pains, just change the range of motion that you're moving through. I want this to feel yummy, like a nice, easy movement, feeling for some stretch sensations. And down. Good. Let's float our arms out to the side. And I've got my arms in peripheral vision. That means slightly in front of my body. And I'm going to lift one shoulder up. Shoulder blade glides up. And then I'm going to roll that shoulder forward. So I'm coming up and forward. And then the opposite shoulder, I'm going to roll the shoulder back and feel the shoulder blade gliding down my back. And then let's switch sides. So one shoulder comes up and forward, other shoulder down and back. Good. Let's alternate a few times, getting some movement, releasing some tension in the muscles of that area. Good. Let's breathe. Again, nice, easy movement. So I don't want this to hurt. Work within the range. Find what's available for you today. Let's do one more. Good. Let's lower the arms, shake that out. We're going to flex our wrists here, and let's lift the shoulders up to the ears. Let's inhale. Feel the shoulder blades glide down the back as we release the shoulders, and then we're going to imagine we're pressing two walls away from one another. You're going to start to feel this tension increasing through the front body. It's not going to hurt you. That is connective tissue movement. There's a lot of nerve endings, nerve gliding happening. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, lower the shoulders, pressing out. Now, if you are like, wow, but this is unbearable, Ashley, two options. You're going to lower the arms slightly below, or you're going to just come to the place, like leave your elbows bent when you find that place where you're like, yep, this is for me. Okay, we're going to bend the elbows. We're going to lift the shoulders. Just a gentle reminder, lower the shoulders. It's not about what shape you make. It's not about looking like me or like anyone else. The magic is in the in-between. It's in the movement. Let's lift the shoulders up. We'll lower the shoulders. We're going to press out. We're going to keep fingers straight. Let's bring fingertips down and fingertips up. Just getting some length now through the muscles of the forearm. I'm noticing that my arms are heavy and weighted into my torso. Let's do a couple more down and up. Let's do some circles here. Circle and 2, 3. Just notice the sensations as you move. 4, what's available to you. Let's reverse directions. 4 and 3 and 2. And 1. Good. Let's bring that in. Let's shake that out. We're going to wake up the hands because we're going to use our hands to support us. Let's make fists, and you're going to squeeze. You're going to release the fist, stretch a little bit further. And then we're going to squeeze, squeezing, find that tension. You're going to release, stretch the fingers out, stretch a little bit further. These little hand movements also really great if you struggle with arthritis. We're going to stretch, reach a bit further. Great for crafting, great for knitting, crocheting, all those like heavy hand movements. Release, stretch a bit further. Also wonderful if you're an office worker. Let's try this fast. Just notice how that changes things, what it feels like. Good. Let's shake that out. We're going to come down to the mat now. So we've opened up, we've released the shoulders a little bit. We found some movement. We've moved the shoulder blades in different positions. If you want a towel for under your head, I encourage you to give it a try. It helps shoulders and neck to release. It will also help the ribs be heavy. And if you'd like something under your low back, I like to use a little hand towel here. This is helpful if you experience discomfort in the low back. Also, if you just like it because it feels good, providing a little bit of support. And so let's start with a couple arm circles. So we'll glide shoulders up towards the ears. We'll glide shoulder blades down the back. Reach through your baby fingers. We're going to float the arms up and overhead. Ribs are going to stay heavy. And then we're going to circle around like we're making a snow angel. Let's try that again. Shoulders up. Exhale, reach. Float the arms up. Invite the ribs to stay heavy, circling around. One more like this. Inhale up. Exhale, reach. Floating up and circling around. Now we're going to float the arms so that we're making a column above the shoulders. And we're going to reach up, feel the shoulder blades widen on the back. And then we'll plug the arms in, feel the shoulder blades get closer together. So you can imagine that the shoulder blades are a bar of soap reaching up, lathered up with warm water, and so that's allowing the shoulder blades to glide with ease along the ribs. Reaching up, plugging back in, reaching up, and plugging back in. We're going to grab our TheraBand now. So I'm going to do these pulls laying on our back because that's kind of the entry point. Know that you can do these in all kinds of positions. You can do them standing, you can do them squatting, you can do them lunging. And what I want you to notice, because we're on our backs, I just want you to notice how when the earth is supporting the body, what that is like, what the experience is like to start to add some resistance to the shoulder girdle. So I've got my TheraBand shoulder width apart. You can play with your own resistance. My arms are a little bit lower than my shoulders or hovering above, so we don't want our arms overhead for now. And we're just going to exhale and pull the band, widening. And we'll inhale as we come back in. Invite the ribs to stay heavy and the pelvis to stay heavy as you move. Notice what this feels like and see if you can come up with a word. Do you feel like you're using a ton of energy? Are you able to find some ease? What does this experience feel like to you? Let's do a couple more here. And so you can really do these to fatigue if you'd like. And you can use them at the start to just sort of start warming up, priming the body for heavier resistance. Let's take our left hand, place it on the left hip bone, and we'll take our right hand and cross over. And then like we're drawing a sword, we're going to open that arm on the right diagonal. And then we'll come back and notice that your body is equally weighted. Right side and left side stay equally weighted as we open. Inhale in. Exhale, open. Inhale in. Notice that your ribs are moving with your breath. Open. And in. Let's do one more on this side. Open. And in. Let's switch. So we'll place the right hand on top of the right hip bone. Left hand comes on top of the right hand. Again, like we're drawing our sword, we're going to open and down. And we're allowing the shoulder blade to glide and move as it needs to allow for this movement to happen. If you're feeling tension or gripping through the shoulders, just take a minute and pause wherever that starts to happen. So if you're opening and you're like, oh, here's where it is, just pause, see if you can allow it to release a little bit and then continue. And if it's really hard to let that release, it's because you're human and it's a tricky thing for our brains to do. So know that that just makes you normal human. Let's do a couple more on this side. And up. Last one. Open and up. Good. Let's put the band to the side. We're going to use our body weight now to start a new challenge. Let's roll onto our sides. We'll just push up to a seated position. We're going to come to standing. Move my props out of the way, and you're going to find a wall. And when you find your wall, we're going to place hands shoulder height, maybe slightly lower, and you get to decide how far you want your feet to be away from that, and you can play with what that feels like. Now we're here, we're going to try that movement of the shoulder blade. So remember we talked about if this is our shoulder blade, this is the bottom tip of the shoulder blade, and the shoulder blades glide along the back so they can open on the back and they can get closer together, okay? So we're going to play with that movement. And you can visualize that happening as we sink our breastbone towards the wall, shoulder blades get closer together. We're working to keep the elbows nice and straight. And then push the fingertips and palms into the wall, elbows stay straight, and notice how the shoulder blades widen on the back. And we'll come in, shoulder blades closer together, and pushing away, shoulder blades widen. Let's do 2 more. And widening. And this is really the starting point for being able to manage your support your body weight with your arms, is this control over the shoulder blades and what's happening here. Good. So now we're here. We're going to feel the shoulder blades are wide on the back and we want them to stay wide. And we're going to bend the elbows as we keep the shoulder blades nice and wide. And then we're going to push the wall away. Push, 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 push. Shoulder blades nice and wide. So I want you to focus on what's happening in the shoulder with your shoulder blades. And push. And if you start to feel that breastbone sinking, shoulder blades getting closer together, that's where I want you to stop your bend, refine that width in the shoulder blades, and then push away. Let's do 1 more here. Bending the elbows. Pushing away, shoulder blades nice and wide. Good, let's shake that out. We're going to come now onto all fours and we're going to try that same movement again. So in our all 4 position, our hands are going to be under our shoulders. Our knees are under our hips. We will invite the front ribs to lift ever so slightly towards the back ribs, and we'll also invite the chin to glide towards the throat. So we're finding this nice long line from crown of the head to tailbone. And for some people, getting into this position is going to feel like your just right challenge. And if that's the case for you, you're going to stay here and you're going to breathe into your ribs. And we're going to keep the elbows straight. We're going to glide the breastbone down towards the floor. Feel the shoulder blades getting closer together. And then we're going to push the floor away, shoulder blades widening on the back. And we'll do this a couple times. I've mentioned this already, but if you find this really tricky, finding this movement with the shoulder blades, that makes you human. For many of us, this is a journey of finding that movement. And it's okay if it's a teeny tiny movement. Good. And then we'll push the floor away. And we're going to hold the shoulder blades wide on the back. Let's tuck the toes under. And we'll keep, again, our attention's on the shoulder blades. We're going to keep that width and we're just going to hover the knees. And we're going to lower. And you're going to notice, are my shoulder blades staying wide on my back as I hover my knees? And lower. And if that feels pretty okay, we're going to hover the knees. We're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep pushing the floor away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's come down. Let's shake that off. So if you're like me, that's already quite a lot of work when I'm thinking about widening my shoulder blades and hovering. I'm starting to experience some muscle shaking, which again, if you're feeling, that's totally normal. So now we're going to come back to that quadruped position. We'll feel for the shoulder blades wide on the back. And let's try some elbow bends here. Again, you get to choose how deep you bend the elbows. So let's bend the elbows, shoulder blades wide. And then let's push the floor away. We're pressing into the floor from fingertips right down to palm. We'll bend. We'll push the floor away. One more time, let's bend. And we'll push the floor away. Let's come off and shake that out. If you're someone who starts to experience pain in the wrists, what I'm going to recommend now is that you grab a block or a book, or you can roll up a towel, and you'll place the heels of your hand on the edge of the block. That's going to decrease the angle of your wrists. If that is still too much pain, you can try fists, and you come on to fists. Third thing you can try, if that's still not working for you, is if you have a box or a bin of some sort, you can place it in front of you, and you'll place your forearms down on the bin, but we want to be a little bit higher so we can try and find this level. So those are 3 options for you. So now we're going to get into our modified plank position, and we'll try all of this again. So we're in our all fours, and then I'm going to bring my knees a little bit back behind me. Shoulders are still under, hands are still under my shoulders. And I can feel now I'm working more parts of my body or not more parts of my body. It's more intense, I can notice. I'm going to press my fingertips and palms into the floor, feel my shoulder blades nice and wide, and let's lower the breastbone towards the floor. Shoulder blades get closer together, and then push the floor away. And I just noticed my head placement, so I'll also encourage you to notice what's happening there, and you can glide your chin towards your throat to lengthen the back of the neck. If you choose, let's do 2 more like this. Shoulder blades glide closer together, push the floor away, shoulder blades closer together, and push the floor away. If you're feeling pretty okay here, let's try our elbow bend. Shoulder blades wide on the back. And we'll push. Shoulder blades wide on the back as we bend the elbows. Push the floor away like you're lifting yourself up. Fingertip to palm. One more time. And push. Good. Let's come back. Let's shake that out. Good work. We're going to now come into a full plank position. If you're moving through this and you've already hit your Just Right challenge, as we go, you're just going to come back to that same position. So if quadruped was the right challenge for you, you're going to get into quadruped and breathe and add on any of the pieces you want. Then you can come off, shake it off, and you can try again. So coming into my full plank position, the fingertips and palms are still energized, pushing the floor away. Shoulder blades are wide on the back. And I'm going to keep elbows straight as I bring breastbone down. Shoulder blades glide closer together. And then I'm going to push the floor away. Feel the shoulder blades getting wide. Let's try a few more. Down, pushing away, and down, pushing away. If that feels good, let's try a bend. Shoulder blades wide on the back. Whew, pushing away. Let's use our breath. Let's inhale down and exhale. Whew, pushing away. One more time. Inhale down. Exhale, pushing away. Okay, let's come down. Let's give it a little shake out. And then we're going to add a little bit of hip extension to that. Now, this hip extension you can do again in quadruped or in modified plank or against the wall. So you're going to pick what's working for you. So finding the position that's working for you, no matter what position you're in, you're feeling for the shoulder blades wide on the back. And I'm going to glide and float one leg up and lower, glide and float one leg up and lower, glide, float up and lower. One more time. Shoulder blades are still wide up and lower. Let's come down. I'm going to add on one more time. So again, whole body's working for this, but today I'm really focusing on what's happening with my shoulder blades, my collarbone, my whole shoulder girdle area. Okay, so let's build on one more time. We're going to come into our plank, press the floor away, shoulder blades are wide. I'm going to extend one leg, float. Extend it a little bit higher. I'm going to push into my plank. Shoulder blades are still gliding down my back. Head is heavy. I'm going to float that leg a little higher. I'm going to bring that foot down. And just for fun, I'm going to roll through into my plank. You can come down without that roll through if you'd like. Extending one leg. Push the floor away, shoulder blades wide. Extending higher. Pushing up, shoulder blades are gliding down the back. Head is heavy between the arms. Lift a little higher. I'm going to bring that foot back. How am I starting this roll? I'm going to tuck through my pelvis, round into a cat, and float all the way down, shoulder blades still wide. For time's sake, I'm going to come down and shake that out, and we're going to, if you want to play with that some more, you're welcome to. We're going to finish with a progression that takes us from the floor to standing. Again, you can do quadruped, modified plank, or a full plank. I'll demo with the full plank just so that you can see what that looks like. So we'll come into our full plank. Feel for length from head to toe, nice and long, pushing the floor away, shoulder blades wide. I'm going to pike, lifting my hips towards the ceiling. Notice that shoulder blades can still be gliding down the back. Head is heavy. I'm going to bend my knees, and without swaying too far from side to side, I'm going to walk my hands in right into a squat, weights in my heels. I'm going to rib cage my arms up, press through my feet, grow nice and tall. I'm going to lift my heels, lower my heels, circle my arm around, and come back into a squat. Good. And then I'll bring my hands down towards my feet. So here's where you're going to walk out to quadruped, modified plank, full plank. Trying to not sway too much from side to side. Shoulder blades wide on the back. Maybe here we bend our elbows and straighten the elbow. Shoulder blades wide. Lifting the hips. Feel the shoulder blades gliding down the back. Head is heavy. Bending the knees. Walking the hands in. Finding your squat. Notice this deep crease between thigh bone and pelvis. Let's rib cage the arms up. Let's press through the feet. All four corners. Let's lift the heels. Find that connection with the floor. Keep it there. Let's lower the heels. Let's circle our arm around. Let's squat. Let's do one more. Hands come out in front. Walking out. Push the floor away. Find your width through back. Feel for length. Maybe we bend the elbows. Push. Piking up, shoulder blades gliding down the back. Bending the knees. We'll walk in. Coming into your squat. Feel the shoulder blades soft here. Float the arms up. Coming up. That was a silly cue. Shoulder blades are not soft. Lift up. My mouth speaks faster than my brain. Let's open. Whew, okay, let's shake that out. Good work. Let's finish with a little gentle movement to release any tension here. Let's find our standing foundation again. So we've got our weight over the arches of the foot, ribs hovering above pelvis. And let's imagine our arms are like feathers, and we're just going to float the arms up. Inhale and exhale as we open. Arms are staying in peripheral vision here. And up. And open. And up. And open. We're going to finish with a roll down, but before we do that, I'm going to show you an option if you live with low bone density, osteoporosis, or osteopenia. I'm going to just turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to come into that squat so we can karate chop our thigh bone and pelvis. And feel for the four corners of the feet on the floor, and we'll come into our squat position, long from head to tail. And we'll let the arms and head be heavy, and we'll just circle the arms here. And we'll breathe. We'll push through the feet. We'll come up standing nice and tall. Other option, we're going to feel nice and tall, foot rooted. Glide the chin towards the throat. Start to nod. Feel the breastbone soften. Front ribs melt back. Let's roll all the way down, bending the knees. When we get to the bottom, let's inhale, breathe into the back body. And then let's sway gently from side to side, staying low as we sway. Head and arms nice and heavy. We'll come through center. We'll feel our feet rooted into the ground, and like we have a harness around our ribs. We're going to press into the feet. Feel the harness starting to lift you up. Head and arms heavy, 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 not helping at all. We're going to stack up, find our standing foundation, weight over arches, pelvis over arch, ribs over pelvis, and we'll bend the knees and let's circle. Inhale and straighten the knees as we circle back. Let's do the other direction. Inhale. We'll bend the knees, circling around and up. Let's just pause, take notice of how your body's feeling. Maybe come up with an adjective or two to describe it.